Good morning. Welcome to Alan's Day. I am down at our holiday home down here in Tennessee, working on this house. This is the second week that I'm down here for. And today's mission, closet doors. You wouldn't think there's a lot to do with closet doors, but there is a little bit of a learning curve with these doors here. So I thought I would share what I've learned putting the doors in, and also so I can document it, because it'll be a couple of months that I got one more door to put in, and I just want to remember what I did. So here's the doors that we've got here. I'll come back and I'll show you what we've how I've got it set up and a few key things you got to remember about these. Here's the doors. These came from Menards. We stained them back up in at home base in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and now we got to prep it. And I've got one more location. I got to put one in the bathroom here. I was running low on wood, so I had to splice this. That'll give it character. And I'm still missing a piece on that side. That I'll have to bring down here next time. But you can see my stockpile of trim pieces is going down. When I started a couple of days ago, that pile was pretty big. Let me prep this door and let me show you a few things that you need to watch for on here. So here's what we've got. This is a 36 by 82 inch door is what it's listed at. Now, it comes with this hardware kit right here, and this is by L.E. Johnson Products. I think there's a website, according to what I did read on here, that I should have taken a look at to maybe educate myself, but I'm a hard learner. They got some instructions on the bag here, a whole lot of reading. So here's what we got. We get a bag of screws, we get a handle. I'll show you how I put that on there. We got a bottom part that goes onto the door jamb, top, here, and here. I am not sure what this is. This just ended up in the garbage along with most of the screws there. But let me lay these parts out on here. Now this door is sitting the same way it sits in the real world here. So this is the top and this is the inside. So when I stand this up, it just goes right into that opening, so I don't get anything turned around in my head here. Now, you got to pay attention to which side your hinge side is at. So we're going to have this. This is the other top mount right here. And this little piece right here is the bottom mount. I'll show you how that goes together. And then also they send this track along with when you get the doors, and this is the hinge side here, and that's how it all locks together. And I've got this set in here where it's from this face to this face here is 2 inches, and I'll follow that whole thing down. Just wanted a little bit of a reveal on there. Now, as far as the screws, let me get the screws pulled out of the bag, sorted out, laid out, and we'll start screwing this thing together. But one more item of prep before I forget to tell you is you need to do a little more work on these doors, and that involves, I had to router the inside of this entire length all the way down. Probably would have been better if I would have did that before I stained it. And then I had to router this corner right here. And let me show you what that's all about. So that routed part of the door ends up being on this inside here, because otherwise that corner was hitting and snapping on this frame here. So I had to router that, and The other part I had to do is router it on the bottom right here, because I had to make a fancy little block stop on here so that when that door locks in, it comes together. That little router part hits there, it comes behind, and then that door is solid. Otherwise that bottom is just swinging in the wind. And as long as we're in the closet here, let me just give you some rough dimensions on here. Now this is the inside of jamb to jamb is 36 inches for what they label as a 36-inch wide door. I would make that number 36 to 36 and a quarter. Otherwise it runs a little tight in there. You can see how tight that is in there. That means that when you do a rough opening, you got to be at 38 inches or 38 and a quarter would be a good number when you put all your framing in there. Height wise on here, this is an 82-inch door. I've got that set at 82 is my sides. Then the bottom, I left a little taller than what the rough opening in the direction said. I've got a full 2 inches underneath the door, and that extra full 2 inches under that door is just to get some ventilation into that closet. And if you have any rugs or anything on there, so I left a little bit tall. But otherwise, that's pretty straightforward as far as trimming that out. I've got cedar boards on here, and these are 3/4 inch cedar boards. It went together pretty well. I still have to put trim all the way around the outside on there yet, but that's the next step. Let's get all the doors hung here first. I've got all my hardware laid out. As I showed you, this is the guide that goes in the track. This is the hinge that it hangs in the track, and this is the bottom pin. This is the straight one right here. That's the hinge that goes on the bottom. Now to set these on here, they do have instructions on, and I did follow the instructions on where to locate these parts, and it seemed to work out pretty good on here. So what we've got is this little bracket goes here, and the magic number on here is 2 inches to the center of that pin, or 5/8 of an inch in from this, from here to here. And you just really critical, you get just that centered in here. And it might be nice if you had 2 people, or you make a little drilling jig or something on there, but we're gonna wing it. And these are the screws that came with it. And I don't know if it's correct or not, but I've got a long one and a shorter one right here. And that's the same thing that I'm going to use on the rest of putting these in here. Oop, I already lost a screw here, so you can see we got a long one. We got a long one and a short one is what's going to go in there. So let me get all these screws put in there, the hinges on there, and we'll get it hung up in the track. This is the 4th one I'm working on right here. The first one took me about 10 times as long to figure out all these little pieces and all the reading on there. So it is coming along. Let me show you how I set the bottom hinge. Because as I mentioned, the top hinge is right here with this little, there's a little tab right here. You got to open it up, and then the pin goes up in there. You got to hold it up in there nice and gentle, and then you got to lock it. Don't put much torque on this. This is all just little chintzy and a little plastic. So bad things can happen, so be careful putting it in there. But surprisingly enough, this whole kit, I first looked at it, I said, there ain't a chance in heck that is going to hold up that door, but it seems pretty solid. So I'm surprised. Now the next step is getting the bottom set. This is the critical part because you don't have much room to mess with down here. So I did all the numbers. My side jambs are 82 and an 1/8 inch long. With that number, I was able to put a 1 inch shim, 1 and 1/8 shim. I put down right here to hold this plate up there for me. But this particular one, this opening is just a little bit bigger, so that's why I put another little shim under here. They've got in the instructions, they've got a number in there from the top to the bottom. You'll have to look at that, but this is what I came up with. So 1 and 1/8 shim underneath for an 82 and an 1/8 inch side jamb. That's all you need to know. Now, since the center of that track is at 2.5 inches, I need to set this at 2.5 inches also. So we will get that bumped around over there. And now I did use my own screws in here because I wanted a little bit longer screw, so it went through the jamb and into the stud structure on here. So it's just not on this little piece here. So I opted to up the size of screw because they did not have a longer screw in the kit for it. And I start out by putting that right in the center of the slot. I gotta go get my extension for my drill, and let me get those in there, and then I will show you how I set the door in there. Now to set the doors in here, this has got the end with the little cap on the top there, which is going to lock into there. And now, not quite sure how this all works here, but this bottom piece is spring loaded. So you put the door up, this goes down and locks back into it. So pretty clever system there. And I did it from the inside here. And I don't know how much you're going to be able to see me struggle here, but it's a little bit of a struggle with one person. It starts off by putting my foot underneath the door, lifting it up in here, get the pivot part in there, and then I got to get this little thing up into there. And then you lock this little tab down once it's in there. Now I've got the door suspended, but don't leave it hanging on there. And now let me get going on the struggle bus and get the bottom end lined up. And just like that, I got the bottom end lined up in there. It's not that bad. Like I said, it'd be better with two people, and it would go together smoother. Bottom is in. Here's where I routed that corner on this inside so that it clears. Because you can see how close that gets if you don't router that corner. It was hanging. So, put that in there. And check your gap all the way top and the bottom. You're better off being a little tight on the top here so that as it goes through time that this door is going to eventually hang itself. So a little tighter on the top. I've got it a little bit bigger on the top there now, so I got to adjust it and move it over. And there's two ways to adjust it. There's an adjuster screw down there, right there. And then they have one up on the inside here. And they do supply a wrench. Don't even try it, throw it right in the garbage. What you need to do is go out in the garage and get yourself a 5/16 box wrench, open end wrench, to make your adjustments on there. So let me get the, I don't want to get too carried away making the adjustments until I get the next jam on there. That'll be next month's project. But now let me get the door handle in here. Well, as I said before, we're always making progress. And this is the closet door that I have framed out. Here's what I did on the corners up here. I 45'd them. I'll show you a little mock-up what I have in case somebody else wants to do something similar to this. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. The bottom joints on there are set up. I've got everything at 45s. I like 45s. Now, if I'd ever do this again, I don't know why, this is a 36 by 80 door from Menards. In this small of a house, I would definitely go with a 32-inch bifold closet door. It just don't need that much door here, and there's plenty of room to get in there. I still have to finish trimming out the inside and the back side here, but I'll do that once I get all the big stuff done, and I'll see what I have for the drop material, because it's not that critical if I get to splice it or I put pieces in here that aren't as colored matched as the other stuff. So other than that, moving right along in this room here, got some trim to do around the beams yet, and we're getting there. I put together a little mock-up for the people that, like I said, might want to do something similar to this. So here's what we got on here. This is it starts out with a piece of trim, and I make this stuff up. It is a 3.5 inch, so it's a 3/4 by 4 inch cedar board, and it's smooth on one side and it's rough on the other side. Now what I do is I take and I cut a 45-degree on here, and it's sort of critical that you leave a 1/4 inch flat spot on the top there, just so you got some structure. And then these grooves in here are just decoration, so you can put I've already put 2 grooves in there before. You can change this up, but you can see how all those grooves, they line up and they give it a little bit of a look. So this is the door frame here, coming across. This is how it ends when you have to run your baseboard into your door jamb. I've just got it 45 there. It just slides right up there. 45 your corners when you get into the corner. Another critical part when you're doing the corners is take and cut this a little flat spot on the 2 corners. That way you're not fighting the inside corner of the wall. And then for making your splices on your baseboard, don't just simply butt it together. put this piece down here and then cut a 45 on there and just slide this piece up underneath there, and it'll help hide that splice on there. Well, I hope this helped for somebody that may be doing this type of trim work, or they like it on their own house. So next step of the process is to put some stain on here. You'll get a video on in 2 months is when I'll be back down here, and I'll start putting some doors in. Other than that, we're at the end of our 2-week stay down here in Jamestown, Tennessee, working on the house. We will catch you guys later. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.